Have I lost the plot, Mrs. W?
I think you lost that a long while ago.
Well, actually, no, I haven't.
Not really.
What's actually happened is that we've had a complete harvest from here, and they're the ones that are left. And I need to get some succession plantings in here, which you'll see in a future video. But I just wanted to show you this Providence. It's a gorgeous cabbage. I really have been really pleased with these. And I have to say, Mrs. W actually, she'll use the heart, and we'll have that with our meal today, but we'll leave these leaves, and there's nothing wrong with these really, if they're in good health, not particularly been eaten. And we had a chicken stir fry the other day, didn't we?
Yeah.
And after we'd used this heart, Mrs. W actually shredded these leaves, took the big vein out, didn't you?
Yeah.
And shredded these leaves, and we put them in with our stir fry. Absolutely amazing.
Really lovely.
Wonderfully crunchy, and the colour is amazing when they're just flash fried within a stir fry.
Try to use as much of the plant as we can.
Oh yes. Now, in today's video, we need to do a bit of harvesting because we're going to my brother's later on today, and we want to take a few things around there that we can all enjoy with the lovely food that they will be cooking us. And also, it's about time we harvested those onions, Mrs. W.
I think you're right.
Welcome back to our garden here in Norfolk, and a very windy Norfolk day here in the UK. Weather systems are coming from west to east, and we're being battered by those winds now, so fingers crossed the P-arch stays up. We've got the things in place to try and keep it up there, and hopefully that will be the case. The winds do actually really, they sweep across the garden like this. They don't go up and down. Very rarely do they go up and down the garden, always across. And so we do have to keep an eye on any tunnels that we build and any cloches that we build. But one thing I did just want to show you is this plant down here. This is one of the Savoy Kings that we grew. It was actually the very first harvest that we took from this row all the way back at the beginning of June. And I've deliberately left this there because, as you know, with the Cabbages, and you can see this is a Cabbages plant that we've left, and it throws out its lovely side shoots, and we can enjoy those. So we're still getting a bonus harvest from that. But actually you do get the same thing from the Cabbages. We don't tend to really ever do this because, you know, we like to keep our land in production, and I've got other plans for this. And of course we have other cabbages in other parts of the garden for us to eat later on in the year. But I particularly wanted to show you this. From this plant, this is one of the side shoots that's come off. And this all happens after we took this centre head in here. You can see actually it's made another cabbage. Smaller, but nevertheless a very welcome bonus harvest. And also it's done on the other side of the smaller one. Come in here, look, Mrs. W, look.
There is.
You can see the beginnings of that. It's starting to turn in.
I think there's
quite a few little side shoots on
Yes,
this, isn't there?
there is. You can see this one here, look.
And I would imagine you could just harvest them as like you would like a broccoli, you know, purple sprouting broccoli floret,
Yeah,
a stem, because there's nice fresh little leaves on them, isn't there?
yeah. Or even as, you know, when you harvest the sprout tops, it's a bit like that, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
So,
Bonus harvest.
I'm not too worried about these being uncovered at the moment. That plant is going to come out anyway because we've just harvested the heart. And then we will have the rest of the broccoli from the Cabbages. And then we'll have whatever bonus harvest we get from this, because in about a week's time we've got plants that are ready to go in here now, which will be another successional planting. Now, these Zabroon. Hello, Poppy. You interested in the Zabroon, are you? The shallots? Yes, I know. Now, these Zabroon shallots, they're looking really, really good. They're not ready for their harvest yet. They've not all gone over. But I don't think it's going to be too long. You can see they're already getting a bit floppy.
Massive shallots.
They are. They're almost like onions, aren't they, when you...
That one especially
Look
that
at
you've got
them.
your hand on. It's
Yeah.
really good size.
And what we are going to do is to keep the larger ones and use them later on this year as sets. And hopefully they're going to split in exactly the same way as our other shallot sets do. I couldn't actually get a hold of Zabroon sets last season, which is why we grew them from seed. But hopefully, they will, as I say, they will do exactly the same thing as our other shallot sets. If you know the answer to that, then please do tell us. Let us know in the comments down below. If you don't know the answer and you want to know the same as us, is that going to happen? Then don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on all your notifications so that you know every time we upload a video to our channel, because we really would love you all to be on this journey with us through the gardening year here in our No Dig garden. Those Providence cabbages, you know, are really quite nice, Mrs. W.
They do look lovely, don't they?
Absolutely. Now, my brother does
They
like...
taste nice too.
They do. Now, my brother does like a bit of broccoli, doesn't he?
Yes.
And I don't have any more broccoli heads, but what I do have, some nice little side shoots. He'll enjoy those. One or two, look.
No. Lovely. Little bonus crop.
Oh yes.
And there's still some coming.
Yeah, there are, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we can...
Get another little harvest of that, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely some coming now.
We can leave them coming until we need to change this plot's use. So let's look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still got 5 more cabbages to go as yet, Mrs. W. This
Superb.
lovely. Lovely food.
Very much so.
Well, we better get them some carrots as well. I think they said they'd like some
Yes.
carrots, didn't they?
Yes, definitely. And we've got plenty.
Now, a lot of you have asked about the Norwich carrot. I think Martin actually sent me a question to say where can you get those, or this seed from. He in particular wanted to know about the coloured seed. We actually got that seed from mole seeds. But you can buy Norwich carrots from, I think we've got it from DT Brown, King Seeds. Got it from quite a few suppliers over the years. What Mrs. W does rather like
They're a lovely carrot.
the blue seed, don't you?
I do like the blue seed because in my older years, my failing eyesight, they help me.
Like I say, they do grow a gorgeous carrot. You want some as well, do you? Do you like the smell of the carrot? Yeah, I thought you might.
When did we sow the seed for these? Was that March?
Yes, it was, yes. It was March time, yes.
And they're nice size now, aren't they? They've got...
Yeah, they are. We had them a bit younger, didn't we, earlier in the
Yeah.
season, obviously,
Yeah.
and they were lovely then. But they are really lovely size now. I wouldn't particularly want to get much bigger than this,
No,
in all honesty.
I'm with you on that one. But we are gradually working our way through them.
Yeah, we are. That one's split, look.
Oh, not many of those though. Not many split
No.
ones. So
A lot of people do ask me about splitting carrots, you know, and they think it's, you know, perhaps because it's the manure or the compost they're putting there, but actually it's not. It's actually to do with we'll have had a dry spell and then all of a sudden it would have absolutely bucketed it down, and that's what caused them to split. In the same way as tomatoes do when they get the blossom end rot. It's all to do with sort of water really, and the irregularity of watering them. People are always sort of asking about no dig and can you grow good carrots? Well,
one.
there you go.
Super carrot, that one.
And remember, since 2020, this has never been turned over. It's just had compost put on each year. And you can see that Poppy's getting excited with the cat. Can I play? These carrots do go down. There's another one slightly split there, but we can use the top. All right, slow down, Poppy, as good girl. Yes, I know, you're playing. You can see they go, you know, a fair way down into our soil. And just to
look at
prove
that one.
things, we do get the odd multi one.
That is a multi one. I think you could win a competition with that one. It actually, if you look at it, turn it back over the other way, it's trying to make 5 different carrots.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? You'll never find a pair of trousers for it, would you? So now that we've harvested all of our onions, this is plot 5. Just going to do a quick bit of weeding so that it's all taken care of. And it is one of the great things about No Dig. There are very few weeds for me to actually pick out of the ground. We're not, we're not weed free. That's not what No Dig is all about. What it is all about is actually you keep on top of your weeds, and the more you pull them, the less you get them. But of course, weeds can come in from the birds flying over. They can be blown in from our neighbour's garden, or if you have an allotment, via a plot next to you. So you're always going to have weeds. There is no cure for them. And neither should there be, because it's all part of the rich biodiversity of an allotment or a garden. But it is quick and it is easy. And if we were going to be planting in here, this is all I would be doing. Just roughly levelling it. And then the next lot of plants I will be popping in today. Here is the onion harvest. I'm so pleased with it.
We have many, many onions.
Many onions, Mrs. W. And you've probably seen while I've been sort of harvesting them that, sometimes you get a really nice big onion. And here's a nice big onion here. Look at the size of that. That's come out really lovely. And it'll be where, although there would have been 3 or 4 plants in there originally, 3 of them obviously didn't make it, and this one was left all on its own. And you look at that and think, yes, a lovely sized onion. But actually, when you have got 4 or 5 in there, you get that versus that. And we quite like the way that this all goes about, because, if we have got lots of people coming around, and we do have those times, we've got quite a large family, then it takes less time to use the really large onions. But actually, day to day, when they're multi-sown and we get them like this, 1 is enough for us, isn't it, Mrs. W?
Yeah.
And that's why our onions actually last us a long time. I aim to try and get around about 400 onions that we can harvest. They're usually more that are grown, but some of them fall by the wayside, so around about 400 onions you can see within these containers. And we'll let them cure now here under cover where our compost bins are. They'll be ready to go into storage, and we'll still be using these well beyond Christmas. If you're wondering about the red, well, we grew Red Baron this year. We always grow that. We don't ever veer away from that. There are other varieties out there, and people will extol their virtues. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with them. We've never had a problem with Red Baron. They make lovely, lovely onions. And then the white that we grew was Santero, which was an F1 if you remember, and Reichenberger. And I have to say, and I think Mrs. W is in complete agreement with me, it's going to be Reichenberger. I don't see the point in paying out money for the F1 seed. They're lovely onions, don't get me wrong, but I can get the same thing with Reichenberger. They produce some lovely, big, tasty onions. So, going back to our garden on a budget, we shall sink down to just 2 onion varieties, Red Baron and Reichenberger. However, not everything has gone to plan with the onions. Back in 2020, when we made our first 2 YouTube videos, during the June and July of that year, we showed you our onion harvest then, which I then grew from sets. And they were grown in various parts of the garden. And I firmly believe that that brought white rot into this garden, because prior to that, we'd never seen it. Not at all. So I have to be a bit careful about where I plant onions. In particular, in plot 1 here, we did have a bit of a problem. And, if you've not sort of seen how they affect your onion harvest. This is what's happened to it. All this white furry stuff around it, they're beginning to rot. You can see it slowly starting to eat the bulb from inside. We didn't really see anything in plot 4. So what I actually am going to do, this will now actually become our allium bed for outdoors. And you know, there are a lot of people that actually just use the one bed year after year for their alliums. You build up the fertility and so you get nice sized onions. And of course with us being No Dig and putting compost over it every year, the fertility really does build up. So that's our plans going forward. As for these, well, some of them do have a touch of it. So if I pick one of these red ones up, you can see that it's starting to happen on the bottom of the onion. Actually, the onion is really quite firm still. If we'd have probably left that in the ground until August, it would probably have been well rotted away and not very nice at the bottom. So what Mrs. W is going to try and do is to cut that bit off of any of the onions where that's been affected. And then you're going to try freezing it, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Just so that this doesn't go to waste. And hopefully that will work. We will report back on that and let you know. But if you have frozen onions before successfully, do let us know in the comments down below that happens well. Normally, as I say, these are normally just kept in our shed after they've been cured, and we just take them as and when we want them throughout the year. So it's a bit of a shame that that sort of happened, but as always on this channel, we do like to show you the good and the bad that happens, because as gardeners we need to find a way of dealing with it. So I've come up with a solution of only growing onions in this bed where we haven't seen it. We do grow all of our onions from seed now, so we shouldn't be importing anything via those sets. So fingers crossed that remains the case. Now you can see in this vegegar raised bed that we have, grown some lovely stuff in this, and we need to pick some lettuce. And we're going to take some over to my brothers, so we tend to adopt the same method as Charles Dowding that he made famous, and you know, whereby you pick the outside leaves and then leave the rest of the plant to actually sprout some more. And it really does work. And these plants then will last much longer than they would if you just let them heart up. Because you only get the one harvest from it. So what have we actually got in here, Mrs. W? We've got Lolla Rossa, yeah?
And Webb's Wonder, or Webb's
Webb's
Wonderful.
Wonder.
I'm never sure if it's Wonder or Wonderful, but yeah.
They're young Sasha's favourites, aren't they?
What, the Webb's Wonder?
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
I know your mum likes those ones. When they heart up though, she likes them because they're a bit of an iceberg variety, sort of type.
Yeah.
So
some nice lettuce that we can take to theirs. And I was just looking, and actually, little spring onions are really coming quite nice, Mrs. W. And it's a great picture here, if you can just get in here, of, you know, these are multi-sow. There are quite a lot here. But as we take the largest ones, the rest can then go on to grow. And the one thing that you do, don't you, Mrs. W, we don't just chop it off there, the whole lot goes in, doesn't it?
Yeah, I try to use all of it.
Especially when they come out of the ground nice and clean like this. Which reminds me, we've had one or two people that have said, can we have some of Mrs. W's recipes and what she does with the food that we grow? So we're thinking, yes, that's something we can do. We did 1 or 2 last year and they did quite well. But I'd just like to gauge a little bit of what you all think out there. So if you do want to leave us a comment down below and just let us know if you'd like to see exactly how Mrs. W either processes the vegetables that we grow in order that we can use them later, or some of the recipes that we actually make using these great, lovely, tasty vegetables, then do let us know in the comments down below. Hello, Scylla.
Quite comfortable there.
Have you come to have a look as well? I know, my girl. Not quite as much trouble as Poppy, are you? And Poppy will eat anything and everything, won't she? Yes. Now, I do hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, then please do leave us a thumbs up, and we very much do appreciate it when you do leave us a comment and watch any of our videos and leave us a thumbs up. We really do. It means a great deal to us. As you can see, we've got lots to take over to my brother's, and I'm sure his wife is going to be able to make use all of this produce that we're about to go over there with. Now, we do wish you a very good gardening week, and as ever, we shall see you real soon.